One evening, Mfong overheard a conversation between Ekaete and Etim. Her heart sank as she realized they were discussing bringing another woman into their home. Ekaete, excitedly, "Ini is ready. She'll be a good wife for you." Etim reluctantly said, "I don't know if I can do this, Mama." Mfong, quietly to herself, "So this is how it ends." A beautiful woman named Mfong lived with her husband, Etim. They had been married for 7 years, and though their love was strong, Mfong carried a silent burden. She could not conceive a child. The whispers in the village grew louder, and the pressure from Mama Etim's mother, Ekaete, became unbearable. Ekaete sternly talking to Mfong, "When will you give me grandchildren? I'm not getting any younger." Mfong, forcing a smile, "Mama, we are trying. God's time is the best." But inside, Mfong felt her heart breaking a little more each day. Mfong spent many nights crying in the privacy of her room, while Etim tried his best to comfort her. He loved Mfong deeply, but even he was beginning to feel the weight of his mother's expectations. Etim, gently talking to Mfong, "Don't cry. I know how much this means to you, to us." Mfong, sobbing, "I feel like I am failing you, Etim, failing everyone." Ekaete, impatient and desperate for grandchildren, began visiting different pastors and herbalists, dragging Mfong along in hope of finding a solution. But each visit ended in disappointment. Ekaete, frustrated, "What kind of woman cannot give her husband a child? You must do something, Mfong." Mfong, quietly, "I am trying, Mama." Ekaete's frustration turned to anger. She started to openly criticize Mfong in front of others, no longer hiding her disappointment. Ekaete, loudly at a family gathering, "Etim, you need to consider finding another wife. Mfong has failed us." Mfong, feeling humiliated to herself, said, "Why is this happening to me?" Mfong, desperate to save her marriage and fulfill her role as a wife, visited several doctors and traditional healers in secret, hoping to find a cure for her infertility. Each time she returned home with the same devastating news. The doctor, "Mfong, I am afraid there is nothing more we can do. Sometimes these things are beyond our control." Mfong, whispering to herself, "But what do I do now?" Ekaete, determined to find another woman for herself, secretly began looking for a younger fertile woman who could give her grandchildren she desperately wanted. She found a young woman named Ini, known for her beauty and fertility. Ekaete, whispering to her son, "This Ini is the answer to our problems. She can give you what Mfong cannot." Etim, hesitant, "But Mama, I love Mfong." Etim found himself between his love for Mfong and the relentless pressure from his mother. He began to distance himself from Mfong, spending more time away from home. Confused and conflicted, Etim to himself, "What do I do? I can't break Mfong's heart, but I can't ignore my mother." One evening, Mfong overheard a conversation between Ekaete her mother-in-law, and Etim, her husband. Her heart sank as she realized they were discussing bringing another woman into their home. Ekaete, excitedly, Ini is ready. She'll be a good wife for you. Etim reluctantly said, I don't know if I can do this. Mfon, quietly to herself. So this is how it ends. A few weeks later, Etim, unable to bear the pressure, finally succumbed to his mother's wishes. He brought In into their home, and he was introduced as a distant relative who needed a place to stay. But Mfon knew the truth. Mfon, to her husband, feeling hurt, how could you bring her here, Etim, in our home? Etim, feeling guilty, I am sorry, Mfon. I didn't have a choice. Mfon tried to hold on, but the pain of seeing Ini in her home, knowing the true reason for her presence, became too much. One night, she packed her bags and left, leaving a note behind. Mfon, writing the note tearfully, I love you, Etim, but I can't stay here and watch this. Goodbye. Mfon moved to another town, determined to start over. She found a job and began rebuilding her life, though her heart ached with the pain of her failed marriage. Mfon said to herself, I will survive this. I have to. In her new town, Mfon met Obon, a kind and understanding man. They became friends, and slowly, Mfon began to heal. She didn't tell me about her past, not wanting to relieve the pain. Obon, smiling, it's good to see you happy. Mfon smiling back, thank you, Obon, you've been a good friend. As the months passed, Mfon and Obon grew closer. He was patient and never pressured her about her past or their future. Mfon found herself falling in love again, though she was afraid of getting hurt. Mfon said to herself, could I really love again? After everything that happened, Obon eventually asked Mfon to marry him. Though she was hesitant, fearing a repeat of her past, she agreed, believing she deserved another chance of happiness. Obon, taking her hands, Mfon, I promise to love and cherish you. Will you marry me? Mfon, with tears in her eyes, yes, Obon, I will. A few months after their wedding, Mfon began feeling unwell. She visited the doctor, fearing the worst, only to receive a shocking news. Congratulations, Mfon. You're going to be a mother. Mfon, stunned. Pregnant? But how? Mfon could hardly believe it. After years of trying and failing, she was finally going to have a child. She rushed home to tell Obon, who was equally overjoyed. Mfon, crying with happiness, Obong, we are going to have a baby. Obong, lifting her off her feet. This is a miracle, Mfon. The news of Mfon's pregnancy quickly spread, eventually reaching Etim and Ekaete. They were shocked and confused, as they had believed Mfon was barren. Etim, to himself, looking stunned. Mfon, pregnant? How? Ekaete, in disbelief. It must be a mistake. Etim's joy with Ini was short-lived. They had 2 children, but Ini insisted on moving abroad for better opportunities. Before they could travel, They were required to undergo several medical tests, including a DNA test. The results were devastating. The doctor, seriously talking to Mr. 18, the DNA test reveals that you are not the biological father of these children. 18, shocked. What? How is that possible? It was soon revealed that Ini had been unfaithful. The children were fathered by another man, and 18 was devastated. He confronted Ini, who admitted the truth. Ini, coldly, what did you expect, 18? You couldn't even get me pregnant. 18, angrily, how could you do this to me? After the DNA revelation, 18 sought medical advice and was diagnosed with low sperm count, confirming that he could not father children. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks. The doctor, gently talking to 18, I am sorry, Mr. 18, but the test shows that you have low sperm count. It will be very difficult for you to father children. 18, in disbelief. So, Umfong was never the problem. Ekaite, upon hearing the news, was filled with deep regret for how she treated Umfong. She realized that she had wrongly accused and mistreated her daughter-in-law. Ekaite, weeping, what have I done? I drove away a good woman for nothing. Meanwhile, Umfong's pregnancy progressed smoothly. She and Obong were thrilled and prepared eagerly for the arrival of their child. Umfong's heart was filled with gratitude and joy as she finally experienced the happiness she had longed for. Umfong smiling, arranging baby clothes. I never thought I would see this day. Ubong holding her from behind. Our child will be so loved. A small intimate gathering of friends celebrating Umfong's pregnancy. Friends laughing, giving gifts. You're glowing, Umfong. Motherhood suits you. Umfong laughing along, genuinely happy. I'm so grateful to have you all here. Etim, walking through the empty house alone. This house is just a shell now. I ruined everything. I don't even know who I am anymore. Etim started writing an apology letter to Umfong. Umfong, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know how sorry I am. Etim went to post the letter he wrote, whispering to himself, I hope she reads it and finds it in her heart to forgive me. Umfong received the letter. She opened it in her kitchen with trembling hands. She read it. Etim, what could you possibly have to say? Umfong, sitting down on her porch, tears streaming down her face as she finished the letter. It's too late, Etim, but I forgive you for my own peace. The sun rising on a new day. Umfong is in the garden tending to flowers. Obong walking up and smiling. You're up early, love. Umfong smiled, just enjoying the quietness before the baby comes. Umfong went into labor and she gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. The doctor smiling, it's a healthy baby boy. Obong was in tears. Our son, Umfong, he is perfect. The naming ceremony, friends and family members filled Obong's family, celebrating their son. Obong proudly said his name is Ubong, a blessing